First off, I was driving in this morning and had the radio on, which I usually either have Christmas music on or I got 93.7 on if I'm listening to a game. And I think I was listening to the basketball game last night on my way home. And then I happened to have it on this morning when I got in the car and heard the awful news about Franco Harris. What a weekend it was going to be, and it's still going to be a great weekend, I suppose. But a little sad, obviously, with the passing of Franco Harris. So my sympathy goes out to the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Franco Harris family. Just an awful deal. Again, just saw him on the patio, and was thinking about it this morning. He was out on the patio during an August practice, I believe, at the end when they came back from Latrobe and saw Mr. Rooney and Franco and kind of talked with him for about 5 minutes before they walked down onto the field before practice. And I'm supposing that conversation that they came out of his office was probably saying, hey, we're going to, retire your jersey. I'm guessing, I didn't know that at the time, but I'm just guessing that was the conversation going on. So we had a nice conversation out there, talked about Pitt and Penn State and the love we have there, and, just kind of heartbreaking. So I guess I've start off there, for our neighbors and, love those guys next door. So signing day. It was a wild run, I can tell you that. Unlike any other signing date, I didn't know what was going to happen this morning coming in. You never know what's going to be of any signing date, but this one in particular, because I think the landscape out there has totally changed from what it was years ago. It's maybe I'll just say it's a mess out there. But we were lucky. There was no surprises. Everybody that we had committed or thought was going to sign today did. And I think that's the most positive thing, because I'm like, something's going to go wrong. Okay, at the last second, someone's getting a last-second call here or there. And again, I guess I'll start off first thanking our staff for all the hard work and discipline and calling. When you get home at 9 or 10 o'clock at night, and you just want to put your head on the pillow and go to sleep, and it's like, make sure you call there. Hey, who's calling tonight? Just having those details of who's calling and switching it up and making sure there's a relationship with every coach, so a kid feels strong. And sometimes I wonder if relationships still matter in recruiting. And with our class, it has, and I think that's probably the most important thing I think in recruiting is relationships. But as you go, the landscape has changed, and so I thank our coaches and their families for all the hard work there. Obviously, I thank our signees and their families for having the trust in us, and I say that every year, and it gets harder and harder. But we got some great families that we brought into our Pitt family there. Couldn't be more excited. There's hugs everywhere when we go into their homes, and again, they trusted in us. And I think it's hard nowadays. There's so many things these parents are being hit with different angles. I mean, I'm sure Chris hears someone's coming in. There's agents. There's street agents. There's all kinds of people trying to tug at these kids' shorts and the parents as well. I mean, so there's basketball coaches. There's many people. It's not just the head high school coach and his parents and the kid anymore. So there's a lot going on there. So I thank our families, thank all the high school coaches and assistant coaches and everybody that's helped us along the way, the administrators for our coaches walking in those doors every day and having open arms about how we do it. And the one thing I can tell you about our guys, and I heard this many times, and it doesn't happen everywhere. There's a lot of coaching staffs that are going out backdoor. There's coaching staffs going on the road that will try to home visit a kid and never walk through the high school front doors. Okay, and that's not how we do business. We're going to go in that front door. We're going to make sure they know we're there, and the coaches respect that. And I can't tell you how many times I heard that walking in high schools, like how, hey, this other school came in and did this, and I'm like, wow, that's not how we're going to do business. And so I thank those coaches and administrators in those high schools. I thanked our team today after practice. I guess our fifth bowl practice of the year so far. We'll get 3 more in, but I thanked our team today for all the work they put in. And again, I call it work. I think they have more fun than the coaches when we call it work. But they get an opportunity to meet these kids and see how they fit in, hang out with them, play video games with them, even though they got practice the next day. In the summer, they really bring these kids into our family. And again, that's the key to recruiting is really our kids and how they act when they come on campus. And I can't again tell you how many players say, recruits, signees say, Coach, I felt like family right away, like it was instant. And that's how you get recruits here. I mean, we can work our tail off as coaches on the road recruiting, but if we bring them on campus and our guys, don't want to spend time with them and just, we got great people here, and I think that's the key. that they want to be with those guys and they want to bring them into our family. So, couldn't be happier there. Obviously, Heather, she does a great job for us, and, nothing could be possible without the help of her. And Mark Harding and our entire mission staff and in our academic committee there. So, just thanking them. We've got a total of 22. We've got 3 transfers in, and we try to be very, very smart with who we bring in. I think I might have mentioned to you guys during the season that we don't want to bring too many in, and we want to bring the right ones in. And we're about 85% effective with the guys we brought in, which is pretty good, which our high school rate was as good as that. But we're not just getting guys. Even if you hear there's offers out there, it's an offer to get in right now, and we're going to, investigate. And if you see some guys faded away, where they got an offer and like, what happened? It's, maybe we faded away, maybe they faded away, but you never know. But we're going to try to get in the game if the videotape looks good, and then we're going to go start digging from there. And then if we hear anything, then we just kind of slide away and go. And that's just kind of how that whole market will be. But 3 transfers. We got 19 high school players, and I'm still that type of guy that wants to build our roster off of high school players. And there's better high school players out there for us to get. I think a lot of people are, dipping into the portal, maybe too much, and we'll find out. But I think it could help you one year and it could, kill you the next year. So 19 high school players, and we're excited about that. Again, we've got 12 signees on offense. So a little heavier right now. Again, we could probably still have a few more to go as well, but 12 on offense, 10 on defense. We got 6 power players as far as O linemen, D linemen. We got 8 big skill guys. You're talking linebackers, running back type guys, and then 8 skill guys as well in the back end, where you're talking receivers. So it's a nice size class, and like I said, it can still get bigger. As far as the players total, like where they're from, again, 8 total states that we got them from: 5 from Pennsylvania, 7 from Florida, 2 from Georgia, 2 from Ohio, which is always hard getting in there. 2 from California, 2 from Maryland, 1 really good one from Virginia, and 1 from New Jersey. So, and again, talked a little bit about recruiting, going to these schools, but, there's more than just a videotape, as I talked about with the transfers, but we're looking for character. It's not how fast he is, and he can go get that ball, or look at him tackle, but it comes down to character, and I think you win with that. So we're looking for, for those character guys that are, winners, they're leaders, guys that can help this program more than just, their talent as far as what they put on the field. So, winners are important. We got 11 of our 19 high school players are a champion in high school. They won some type of championship. We got 10 captains out of that group as well. So, we're always looking for future leaders of this program. And of these 22 guys, 14 of them came in the summer on a summer official visit, and 8 of them were this December, which I think is probably, a little bit more balanced than I anticipated. With the way recruiting goes, we had probably more guys committed in the summer, and probably next year I'll probably just say, okay, if we want 20 committed in the summer, let's go 24, 25, just because I don't think we've had that many decommitments ever in recruiting. Maybe you had 3 or 4. It seems like you have 1 a year, basically, but that was more. And again, that's just the landscape that we're in right now. So I'll move on with this class. Again, I'll start with the offensive line. And again, we like them big, we like them fast, athletic, and smart. And we certainly got that out of this group. All 3 of these offensive linemen got a 3.4 GPA or greater. And again, to play that position, they have to be big, they got to be long, athletic, and all that. But they better be smart, because you can get the wrong guys there that can't function with Coach Borbley in there. So first one is Ryan Coretta. Big, probably interior offensive lineman. He's a 6'5", 300-pound monster from Galena, Ohio. Again, it's hard to get him out of Ohio. St. Charles High School. Again, like I said, he's smart. Really everything we want. We beat a few Big Ten teams on this guy. It was a battle in the summer to get Ryan. One of the keys was, Ryan Manlack, our linebacker coach, has that area. He's from that area, and he coached his brother Ryan at Bucknell. So he had a really, really good prior relationship, with that family, and that was crucial in the trust level of his parents sending him to Pitt. So we thank obviously Coach Manlack, but the Coretta family for choosing us. The next guy, again, it's B.J. Williams, a 6'3", 280-pound lineman, and again, I think it says 6'3", it might be 6'5" still. As I walked out of his home last week, from Lawrenceville, Georgia, Creekside High School. Again, a guy we saw in the summer, and we kind of went back and forth. He was committed to somebody else at the time, and I remember sitting in the offensive staff room watching the videotape on him, and I'm watching him down block and just physically destroy some guys. I'm like, who is that guy? And I think we were maybe watching somebody else. It was like, get that guy on the phone. Like, we were just popping through different guys. Hey, what do you think of this guy? And they threw him on. I'm like, that's what we're looking for right there. And, sitting with Coach Signetti and Coach Borbs. So, we offered him, and 12 hours later, he was on our visit, and we had snagged him. So great people. Again, a really twitchy guy that we're excited to have. The last one, probably the biggest monster of them all, is Tyree, a 6'6", 300-pound offensive tackle from Apopka, Florida, just outside of Orlando, just east of Orlando, Apopka High School. Had a great senior year, led his team to the state championship last week. They rushed for 350 yards on offense. That's a 12-minute quarter. They lost the game 16-13. And again, I haven't seen the entirety of that game yet. Been busy, but it's one of those games. They rushed for 300 yards. I want to continue to watch it. But he's a big man, again, I think he's going to be a super football player for us. Character-wise, all three of those guys fit the Pitt mold for what we want up front. Quarterback position, a great need for us in the offseason with, Nick Patty going to move on and obviously playing the bowl game, but Derek Kyler's gone. And the other movement we had there. So, again, our first quarterback that we're lucky to get, a high school quarterback, Ty Diefenbach, 6'6", 210-pound player from Calabasas, California, Agora High School. Again, a guy that we lost a commitment, as you guys know, in the middle of the year, middle of the season, I should say. And we had to go on a hunt. And I wasn't going to take anybody. I didn't care if we had to go to Alaska to find a guy. Our staff did a great job of, evaluating our recruiting staff and coaching staff of just finding another guy. Coach Signetti, flew out to Ohio the first opportunity we had, watched him throw. He's big, he's athletic, he plays basketball, except I did beat him in pig on his basketball court in the backyard. So I will throw that in, Jerry. I know you like those color points. I was a little disappointed after I beat him, and his dad's a basketball player. He played in college, and so when I walked off there, I kind of felt guilty. I think they were just, I think they just sandbagged us a little bit and let us win. I think they let me and Coach Salem win that game of pig because there's no way we should win that game because both of them are great athletes. But Ty, we're excited to have it. He's played receiver in the past and was a captain for them as well. Kid with a great personality. Thinks he's going to be a great leader for us. And again, he will be there mid-year. He will be on campus mid-year, as well as B.J. Williams, one of our three offensive linemen. So Ty will be here. So I think January 8th, 9th, January 8th. Those guys will be on campus, and we'll let them get with you. All three of our quarterbacks will be mid-year as well. The next quarterback, Christian Valou, a 6'4", 200-pound, serious guy. This kid's locked in. He's a guy that we offered out of high school, had him on campus a couple times. Back when he was being recruited out of high school. He's from Ottawa, Ontario, went to the Bullis School. He's got a great host family that he spent time with. The relationships, just tell you they're relationship people, but, spent, I guess, last weekend with them and then drove up from Maryland to spend the weekend with us this past weekend. Had a great visit, obviously committed to us. So we're excited to have him. He's a Penn State transfer. And Coach Signetti had offered him up at BC. So, again, one of those guys that you knew a lot about, who he was. You've already met with him. You didn't have any questions about character. We did all that homework as well. So that was an easy guy to say, we want that guy. And, watched a lot of tape on him and really love what he goes by CV, does for our program. And then the last one, a guy that's got 1 year of eligibility left, Phil Jakovic. As you guys all know, 6'5", maybe 6'6", 215-pound, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania native and Pine Ridge High School via Notre Dame and Boston College. They talked about it being a one-time transfer, but I guess that doesn't matter anymore. And I guess, we'll accept this one. But Phil, big, athletic, tough, leadership type guy, something that we desperately need in that room, and I think Christian's the same way. But he brings the leadership that maybe we lacked a year ago, and again, he's tough. He's had some great years up there at Boston College. We're happy to finally be able to bring him home because we've recruited him hard for years, and he's going to have the best year of his life here in Pittsburgh this season, and we're excited what all three of those quarterbacks are going to do in that quarterback room this year. Running back, again, a position that we feel like guys can come in early and play. We took two quarterbacks as well. One of them is a mid-year guy, T.J. Harvison, 6'1", 180-pound kid from Carrollton, Georgia, Bowden High School, a smaller high school down in Georgia, but every coach in that area loves this guy. Talks about his explosiveness. He transferred into and played just one year at this high school, but picked him up in December, and Coach Collins got on him, and we continued to work him. And we're excited to have TJ in there. It just brings a lot of versatility. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can run it. Very athletic, and again, a guy that takes care of his body. He's like he's a health nut. And I know Coach Stack's going to love him in the weight room. Then the other guy, Montravius Lloyd, again, 5'10", 185-pound kid from St. Petersburg, Florida, Lakewood Senior High School. Again, a great football team down there this year. They got players all over the place. And Montravius is a super football player. Again, a guy that can do it all. As a junior, he played more tailback. And this past season, he played a little bit more receiver just based on the needs. So he's an unselfish player. Said, Coach, I'll do whatever it takes. And again, they had another good tailback in Montravius or Trey. Has the ability to be a great back out of the backfield, so they put him at receiver. So he did a little bit of both. So he was a slash guy down there, and he was exciting and fun to watch. He's also a guy that can that plays basketball, can dunk the ball. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to go down there, but I may in January slip by and watch him play basketball. But just super kid and a great family as well. Another, again, I think a real position of need was our receiver room. We wanted to upgrade some guys in that room as well, and we've got four really super players in that class that we're excited about. The first one is Kenny Johnson, 6'1", 195-pound kid from York, PA, Dallastown High School. A guy we've known for a long time, has been committed for a long time, is excited about Pittsburgh. You probably noticed when I went on the visit to his house, probably Twitter, he had that Pitt tree. His mom and dad had the Pitt tree up. They had a Pitt Christmas tree, and they were so excited about us visiting. But he is a special kid, big, tall. He'll be a big target for our quarterbacks. We wish he was coming in mid-year, but he is not going to be able to get that done. The next guy, Israel Polk, goes by Izzy. So we lose an Izzy, we gain an Izzy, right? And we hope he's as special as the Izzy that we lost to the NFL here. But he's coming from Oakland, California. So Oakland, California to Oakland, PA. Again, St. John's Bosco High School. I think they won a national championship. Is that correct, Adam? Won a national championship. I think they finished #1 in the country. Some people will argue that was that team down in South Florida. But I've heard that. But again, a guy we got on late. We were out visiting Ty out there, and all of a sudden we get a call like, hey, to go check this guy. I was like, our plane was about ready to leave, and we were like, okay, forget it. We're going. And we had a great visit with his family. Mom cooked up some Chinese food. It was unbelievable. And Coach Salem ate. I recruited him, and Coach Salem was eating the whole time, Jerry. I was like, this guy ain't even recruiting. It was easy. But we got him on this weekend. He's got a brother that plays for the New York Giants. Played it, I guess graduated from Mississippi State. Just an outstanding young man. A guy that we think's got great speed, will fit perfectly in our receiver room. That's a lot of guys, huh? Next guy is Lamar Seymour from Miami, Florida. 6'1", 180-pound guy from Miami Central High School. Again, they won a championship as well. He's coming mid-year, so you'll be able to see him in the spring game and throughout spring ball. We're excited to get him. He's a fast guy. Again, Florida guy. Again, I think he had a national championship shirt on as well. So I don't know who. I guess there's maybe 2 or 3, depending on who you talk to. But he had his championship shirt on today when I talked to him after he sent his paper. But he's a super player. Had a home visit and actually at a restaurant. But his brother, ironically, plays for the Miami Hurricanes, so he was there. So I think a lot of people would have tampered, but I say, listen, this is not a tampering meal. We're here after Lamar, and we're not. So Coach down there can feel at ease that we were not tampering with him. But it was great to see and break bread with his brother. But we're excited about Lamar. He's just a worker, a guy that's going to come in here. And again, I'm excited about especially seeing him in spring ball. And then the last one, Zion Fowler, kid from Union City, New Jersey. a 6-foot, 190-pound guy from St. Peter Township High School, or Prep High School, I should say, in Jersey City. And, I think I've been recruiting for a long time. It might be the first guy we ever got out of there. So it's not easy to get him out of there. He didn't make it easy on us as well. He was a guy that decommitted from us in the middle of the year. And, again, I guess it was probably, and again, you could probably talk to him, but probably one of those guys that's getting advice from too many people. And he was able to see the light. And, it's just another lesson for him to, hey, who are you listening to? And so I'm happy for Zion that, he obviously figured it out and got it right. And it took time. And, I'm not a guy going to pressure you one way or another, but it was really all about him. And, and he had to make that decision, and he had to make this decision. So we're happy to have him back. You guys probably saw some of his dunks last spring. I think this guy's an explosive guy. You watch him on the basketball court. You watch him on tape. He goes up and gets the ball. He can high point the ball about as good as any receiver in the class. So when we do deep ball drills, our guys, he likes to jump, and he can run. So we're excited to get him here. So that's our offensive guys. Defensively, I'll start with the defensive line. We got 3 guys signed on the defensive line. Again, we're always looking for explosive guys there. And you guys know it starts up front. Our coverage and linebackers can't do what they do without guys up front. We got 3, I think, very explosive guys. The first one is Maverick Gracio, a defensive end that actually played 5 years of high school. He petitioned the NCAA in the high school, I guess, really the high school association to get an extra year. He had moved all over the place. He was out in San Diego. He was in New Mexico. His mother moved him from New Mexico to Fort Lauderdale, and somehow he ended up at Cardinal Newman High School. He's from West Palm Beach, Florida now. His mother, obviously is with him there. But, again, a late pickup, a very athletic guy that Coach Partridge has had on his mind for a long time. We didn't see him. I didn't see him live, but Coach Partridge saw him live and loved him and just fell in love with the kid. He's a very polite, smart kid that we're excited to see what he's got. The next guy is Antonio Kamen. Again, a really mature, 6'2", 270-pound guy. I think he can play end. Again, probably doesn't look 270 right now. I think some of these weights are messed up. Probably about a 250-pound guy, unless he carries it really well. But great visit with his family. Came in the summer as well. Tampa Bay Tech High School. But just an explosive guy up front. Again, wherever they line him up in high school, he's explosive. He's tough and fits right in with Coach Partridge in that defensive line. The next guy is Isaiah Neal. Goes by the nickname of Ghost. 6'2", 270-pound defensive tackle, I believe. Washington, D.C. kid, went to St. Francis Academy up in the Baltimore area. But just, again, another one of those guys that maybe he's not big enough for somebody else, but we think he's a diamond in the rough like all these guys. Can do whatever he wants to do. He's kind of, I'll say it right now, we got a lot of leaders. I think I said 10 captains, but I'll be shocked if this guy isn't a captain, at least by his senior year, because I think he's got some leadership qualities that kids don't have nowadays. I'll never forget when he committed, in the Champions Club at Heinz Field or Acrisure Stadium. I think it was Heinz Field at the time still. When he committed there, he just grabbed the mic and told everybody what he's doing. It was impressive. So Antonio Neal, those are our 3 guys, and Isaiah, the Ghost, is going to be here mid-year as well. Okay. Linebacker-wise, we got 3 of those. And again, this might be 3 of the best linebackers of any class that we brought in here at Pitt or any place else I've been. We're really excited about all 3 of these guys with their size and athleticism. First one, Braylon Lovelace, 6'2", 200-pound guy from Leechburg, PA, Leechburg High School. Again, a mid-year guy. He's been down the last 2 Saturdays watching, listening, picking up information. I mean, he is locked in. He's athletic. He played tailback. He played linebacker, safety. He did it all. He's athletic. The last guy that signed out of there was his dad, ironically, and he played at Rutgers. He's a big guy, too. He wouldn't be a linebacker. He'd probably be a D tackle at this point. Appreciate the Lovelace family. And again, the interesting thing about him, when he got that Pitt offer and he's been to camp and he came to 7-on-7, is they've had season tickets for years. So his dad is locked in, even though he's a Rutgers grad. He might as well be a Pitt grad. Maybe we can change over his his degree there. Next guy, Rasheem Biles, a 6'1", 195-pound guy, a little skinnier guy, but really athletic. He's a punt returner, plays all over the field, plays safety. I mean, he does it all. He's returned punts. He got banged up during the year, so he wasn't able to finish his senior year. So he'll come in healthy in August for us, or I guess at the end of July. But just an explosive player that'll probably be fit out at our star position. Just a, extremely gifted individual athletically. And then the last one, Jordan Bass, a 6'4", 215-pound guy from Hampton, Virginia, Phoebus High School, led his team to a state championship. I saw the game prior to that, down at the high school. Me and Coach Manlack were at that game and hung on the fence, just watched from down there, and he was the best player on the field by far. He's gigantic. Again, it says 6'2". No, excuse me, it says 6'4". That's probably correct. 215 pounds. He's athletic. He's tough. He's smart. He got the whole package as well. We think this guy can be a special guy. He could probably go out and help us at receiver as well. We may try him out there. Wish he was coming mid-year, but he won't be able to do there. And then the other interesting thing is, I think in all my years, 33 years of coaching, it's the first time that a family has invited us to put up the Christmas tree. And that tells you something. We were at the game that day. We waited about an hour, went for a home visit. We helped put the Christmas tree up. So that'll be something I'll remember forever. We put the tree up. I hope it's still up. I hope we didn't mess it up too much, Jerry. But it was a great home visit there. A very long home visit, which was awesome with the family. So I appreciate his dad, Ed. I think he's watching right now. Hail to Pitt. Next one is a guy that we've been recruiting for a long time, Donovan McMillan, 6'1", 205-pound guy that actually signed his papers a couple days ago because, transfers don't sign national letter of intent. They just sign the money or the financial aid part of it from McMurray, PA, Peters Township High School via the University of Florida. And, a guy, again, we loved and wanted, a couple years ago, chose to go away from home. Has really investigated our defense, loves our defense, fits into our defense, and can't wait to watch this guy come in and compete again. He's another football nut. He was in last week. Did not take an official visit. Obviously, he didn't need one, right? Didn't take an official visit. Came down twice last week. We had a great official visit down in Gainesville at his apartment. Just a great visit there. And, I was sold on him. I think he was sold on Pitt once we walked out of that, his apartment in Gainesville. When we had a sudden change and had as soon as he went into portal, it was like, okay, I'm not going there, I'm going there. And we flipped around and headed to Gainesville, and it was a great visit and well worth it. And again, obviously, Donovan has been here already, and he will be here mid-year, so we'll get to see him this spring and coach him. The next guy, Jesse Anderson, DB, 6 foot, 170-pound guy from Oakland Park, Florida, Cardinal Gibbons High School. We've had great success. All the guys we've pulled out of there have been great. This will be another one of those that's got a big old smile on his face, athletic, can do it all. Missed a little bit of the season with an injury, but was tough enough to come back and finish his year there. Plays receiver there as well. So we got guys that can do a little bit of both, and we'll see what they have at both. But he brings some leadership. I think he's a very vocal guy that's really going to be a guy that Coach Sanders is going to love to have on the hash. And then the last DB of the four, okay, and then I'll open it up for questions, is a kid from Lakeland, Florida, Lakeland High School. Again, went 14-0, won a state championship. Had a chance to go down there for a little bit of a walkthrough. Was also down there during our open week at his high school. It was one of those places that you said, I got to get in, and I wanted to get in the end of October, November, whenever that open weekend was. But this kid is the best DB on their football team. Okay, and there's another DB on that team that might be even ranked the number one DB in the country, and we got the number one DB in the country in Shadarian Harrison, without a doubt. We'll see where it all plays out in 4 years. We'll figure it out. I know we're going to develop, and we got a great player and a great kid, but he's the corner in the group that we think is special. And again, he's a special player, and he was a guy that Coach Sanders and myself were going after hard, and I told Coach Sanders, you better make sure you get that guy. He's also got a little relation to Damari Mathis, so I think Damari in the end helped us out a bunch. Had a little FaceTime with Damari on the home visit while he's up with the Denver Broncos. So that is our class. We're excited about it. Sorry it was so long.
We have one more, Mr. Brookins.
Oh, Mr. Brookins, did I skip one? I'm a knucklehead. Where did I went too fast here. Let me go to my last page here. Well, I guess I saved the best for last. Thanks for working your checklist there. Got a lot of them here. Cruz Brookins, DB, 6'2", 180-pound guy from Steel Valley High School, Pittsburgh guy. Was a guy that we actually probably weren't on as quickly and as we should have been, but was a guy that got hurt in the summer, couldn't come to camp. And you go, these Pittsburgh guys we expect to come to camp and you get a chance to know who they are, but had an exceptional season. I mean, so you didn't see him in camp. Coach Sanders did a great job at staying on him. Cruz, his family came down. We had a great time this past weekend. Obviously committed to us last Sunday, held it till he had a great video that he sent to me yesterday afternoon, but we're excited to have this guy. He's big, he's smart. I mean, what does it say? He is 6'2", 180. He's athletic, played quarterback, can do it all. This is a fantastic football player. Led his team to the Whitfield Championship as well. And, again, is a great basketball player that I expect to get to a basketball game in January and see him go. But he's averaging 18 points a game right now on the court. So just another exceptional athlete. So did I miss any more?
Good.
Beautiful. Questions?
Yeah, everybody around the country is dealing with decommitments and transfers and things like that. In your circumstance this year, how the guys are decommitted, how much part did NIL take in those decommitments?
You know what's a great question, Jerry? I don't know. Okay, that's the other interesting thing about this name, image, and likeness is it's like, I don't know if they're signing contracts saying don't say a word, but it is like hush hush. Okay, now you hear rumors and high school coaches will tell you stuff, but a lot of it is hush hush and you don't hear. I know we lost one. I'll just say it, I guess we lost one to Utah that was a good receiver for us, and I think that had something to do with it. So you just don't know though sometimes. I mean, you don't know what to believe. I can tell you this: with all the things that happen out there in this recruiting, and it's sad that we're in this space even. There's nothing tracking anything out there. The things you hear, you don't know what's true, you don't know what's fake, you don't. Even when you hear someone's getting money, then you find out there's a lot of lying going on out there. So, I think, through the years, we're going to find out the kids have been said, hey, you're going to get this much, and they aren't getting it. And I've talked to enough agents, enough name, image, and likeness agents out there that give me feedback that there's just, what they're being told is not true. And when they get there, they find out, and they're kind of disappointed, a little bit disengaged, and then they'll end up in a portal in a year calling us back saying, I want to come to Pitt. But so that you never know what happens there. So it's hard to say, Jerry. Sometimes it's us, and sometimes it's something that happened. Those decommitments, are they happen for several reasons. Sometimes it's like, okay, listen, you need to go find another place, whether it's academics or whatever. You're having a bad senior year, and then sometimes it's, tampering, paying guys to play, and again. That is not what name, image, and likeness is. It's more, should be name, image, and likeness, and you should earn your deals like, the right way, like a Kenny Pickett and a Kalijah Cansey and Brandon Hill and some of these other guys on our football team, and Savasi Dennis, all the guys that we got about probably 90 guys that have deals, but they're all done the right way. Questions?
What was that conversation with Zion like when he wanted to get back in the fold?
Zion, it was. I would say it's rough, And again, he's had conversations. Coach Salem did a great job talking to him, and this guy's a good football player. But I also, had to lay the line as well, just saying, listen, don't come to Pitt and think you're going to listen to somebody else out here. Like, this is your family. Again, it's a lesson. And again, I think all kids need lessons. I think he gets it. I think his mom and dad get it. Just people in his ear, and sometimes you fall for it, sometimes you don't. But I'm never going to, penalize a guy for that if he wants to be at Pitt for the right reasons, which he did. And so we had a nice talk, and I told him like I feel, like I'm always going to do. I'm not going to, sugarcoat it because I want him. I want him to know how I feel about what happened during the year, and we kind of went from there. So it was great, and I'm a guy that likes to forgive and forget, and we move on. And I'm excited to have Zion in the program.
You guys have more Western PA recruits in this class, and especially with the transfers. You guys have probably a lot of Western PA guys starting for you guys. Is that something that you guys look to sort of make a staple as part of Pitt and say, like, hey, with the bevy of talent that's in this area, you can play here and represent the city again?
No question. I mean, the city of Pittsburgh is awful important to us. We want to recruit these guys. And like I said, I wish we were on Cruz earlier. But like we do it for the right reason. Cruz's a hometown hero, and whether it's Donovan going somewhere else and coming back, I mean, we're always going to, whatever it is, we got a great relationship with all these kids. Whether they decide to go somewhere else and then come back, whatever it may be, we don't care. We're always going to, leave it, wish them luck. Good luck. If something changes in the future, let us know. Give us a call back, and then when you get that call back, it feels pretty good that you're like, okay. And then our job is, whether it's a John Patrician, which is one of those great successes that came back and had a great career when we didn't have much at the other place, and that's what it's all about. We can develop those guys. Whether you come now, come later. We wish you just come now, make it easy, right? So just maybe make a red alert out there for some guys. Just figure it out now. Don't come the second time. Just take it the first time. I mean, you look at MJ Devonshire. I mean, that guy's going to be an NFL corner that we're happy to have back. And I mean, you can just go on and on after those guys. So we want to recruit the best in this area and guys that can help us win another championship.
Bill Dracovic announced he was committing to Pitt pretty quickly after he entered the portal. What happened in that process? Was that, have you and Frank kind of circled him as somebody you'd be interested in if he hit the portal?
Yeah, I think he obviously was in the portal prior to a defection, and then we were just ready. Again, you better have a plan, and we had a strategy, and we had our talks in the office, with what our quarterback situation was like and what might happen, and as soon as we knew which direction was going to happen in our office, it didn't take us long because he was in the portal and to pull the trigger on Phil, and we're excited to have him.
Were you thinking about Dracovic before he decided to transfer?
Before he made his announcement to transfer?
Or before you knew he was going to transfer?
Well, you never know what they're thinking, but yeah, we were thinking about him. Yes, you got to have a plan. Right. You got to always have your what ifs. If you sit there and wait till it happens, we'll be in deep trouble. So yeah, we had a plan. You never know. A lot of things happen. So, Keaton's a great kid. I love him, but he had to make the best decision for us. We had to make the best decision for us as well. Or he had to make a decision for himself, I should say, and we made our decision as well. But we were prepared if something would happen, and we pulled the trigger.
Do you have one person this year just focused exclusively on the portal, particularly as you got into October, November, December, one staff member?
No, we don't. We probably need a bigger recruiting office, Chris. I may hire you in. But it's as big as that is, we do need, and I know some places have 15 people. You probably go down to Alabama, they're recruiting the portal before it opens, I guess. And that's not a slam, that's great. I wish we had the same thing. There's some places, in the NFL, when you think about it, when you think about the NFL, they're looking at all the free agents. I mean, the Steelers are studying other rosters, and they know who they like going through preseason, saying if that guy gets cut, we're taking that guy. And it's the same thing in college football. So I wish we had, unfortunately, it's where we are. We got to, poor Graham. Our recruiting staff did an incredible job. I talked about our coaching staff, and again, I include them in our coaching staff. They did an incredible job. When we're on the road, we were on the road on a Friday before the portal opened on a Monday, correct, Graham? And we knew, hell was going to break loose on Monday, okay? We were prepared. We have a Pitt staff text message that everybody can know what's going on. And the number of text messages that were floating around that day, I was like, I'm sick of this phone. I was ready to throw it out the window into the lake because it was just like kept buzzing. And I'm like, what? Another guy's in the portal that we were interested in. So we were just going through, and it was like, soon as it, if it was your position or your area, you were now, digging up on, hey, who is this guy? Do we like him? What's the tape look like? They didn't. I mean, it was all hands on deck. We even part our football GAs over in that room to help them, say, hey, listen, we need more people in there. So our manpower is not even close to what it needs to be for the capacity of transfers that are in the portal at this point. But, it's first knowing who these guys are, and then, again, they do a great job at saying, yes, this guy's a go, and then we're going to pull the trigger, and then, worry about the character stuff later, and again, do our homework. I mean, we're going to call coaches. Some coaches, aren't going to make the phone call to find out about that guy. I'm gonna call everybody. To me, that's the key. I'm not gonna take a guy without talking to someone about who he is as a person, who was he as a player. If you don't do your homework, you're in trouble with the transfer portal, because a lot of them in there you don't want.
Was there a challenge for you guys? Last year, you guys brought in 12 high schoolers, and this year you bring in 19. Is there a challenge in switching and kind of switching year to year dynamics? I know COVID plays a big part in that because you guys have so many people staying around. But is planning around that more difficult?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to recruit the best high school players we can, okay? We're not going to say, hey, we want 19 of them or 20 of them or 25 or 10 or 11 from last year. We're going to recruit the best high school players we can get. We're not going to settle for less. So if we're recruiting a running back position, we're like, hey, these are the 3 guys we want after that, and there's a big drop-off, then we'll just wait, and then we'll take a needy guy from the portal. But if we can find great young talent, I would rather develop those guys. I'd rather them be in our culture. Sometimes if they're in a different culture and you don't know where they came from and it's done totally different way, I mean, I want to develop our kids, as people, as men, and you can't do that in 1 or 2 years. So that's our philosophy. So, we don't go ever into it. We know how many scholarships we have, which with COVID we still don't know that either. You still, I mean, that's probably the biggest chaos is the COVID factor as far as not knowing, the guy's a senior, but you're not sure if he's graduating or not. Is he going to take off? Is he going to go to the NFL? We'll get back to that where it's just the senior. We know they're gone, okay? So at least we know our scholarship numbers. But we're going to recruit the best high school players we can, and then we'll go into the portal to get guys. And if there's a guy we know, we didn't even need a portal guy, or didn't plan on taking a guy at that position. But if he's a guy that we already know about, if he's a Pittsburgh guy, we're going after him.
You guys have a chance to get your 20th win in 2 seasons on the 30th coming up. So obviously you have a lot of recent success. How much of that do you think impacted some of your visits and the opportunities you got to talk to some of these players who got to see you guys win an ACC championship last year and Kenny Pickett, be a Pittsburgh Steeler?
I mean, I think it does. I can't tell you, and I think I told you the same thing last year after a championship. I don't know. I can't tell you the impact. You hope there's an impact. You hope that matters. I certainly think when you walk into schools, they know who you beat. It's like I was driving with Coach Partridge down through South Florida last week and saying, it's got to be a lot easier to come down here and recruit. It's like, how was that last game? We felt pretty good after that game, and it's a much easier walking around South Florida through Fort Lauderdale and Dade County after a W like that.
Are you going to increase your personnel staff?
You interested?
I'm coaching to the end and to the beginning.
No, you're not. We're always looking into it. I think every year we add a guy. We'll have that talk in the offseason with Heather. It's just we need to, okay? But you gotta do what you gotta do. We'll find a way to get it done one way or another. It's a motto we have around here, Blue Vase. Just find a way to get it done, and we find a way to get it done one way or another.
You all pulled in 4 wide receivers, I believe, with this class. How much was Coach Underwood, or how did you see Coach Underwood take on the task of coming in here first year and helping you guys?
He's done a nice job. When he gets a guy on campus, and he's done a nice job. When he locks his claws on a guy, he's done a nice job. Again, it's a group effort. When we recruit, and I think there's a learning curve for everybody, really, in the offense. I mean, you got Coach Underwood, Coach Signetti, and myself, and the recruiting office all looking at these receivers, and everybody likes something different. So I think there's a learning curve to it as well. It's like, what do we need? What are we looking for? So I think we did a great job, getting what we need, and we'll keep further evaluating how we do it and what we do. Brookins is a DB. Yeah, I mean, again, he could be a wildcat quarterback too. We know that he can do a lot of different things, but we'll probably have him at safety to start off. We think he's more of a safety, so he'll be with Coach Sanders.
Anything else?
I mean, you mentioned Jordan Bass and his potential. That's another guy you saw on both sides of the field. What does that say? I guess you probably like him as that star linebacker. Do you see the athleticism come through when he's playing on offense as much as defense?
Yeah, he knocks the heck out of him. This dude's flying around. Bass can play all 3 positions. I mean, like Biles, he's probably going to be the star guy. He's an athletic safety, athletic smack you as well. But Jordan Bass can play them all, I think, and that's the beautiful thing. Like he's big. I mean, he's big and fast. I mean, that's 6'4". I mean, that's fast. So we expect him to come in and again, I think he's smart enough. I wish he was mid-year because he'd definitely be smart enough. But I think he's smart enough to learn all 3 of them. We'll try to make sure he masters one first, but he'll be moving around pretty quick. But I think he athletically and then size-wise. Biles, again, could play the Sam because he's a smart kid too, or the money, whatever you want to call him. But he could probably play that boundary linebacker position, but physically he's not there yet. Bass can do it all. He's athletic enough, to play out in the space, and he's big enough to play in the box.
Pat, you've referenced Franco from 50 years ago. People in Pittsburgh would drive to Youngstown, Erie to watch games because they're flat back here. Do you remember watching the Immaculate Reception game as a kid?
You know what, Jared, it was a long time ago, you know, like it was for you. You know, I don't know how old I was, probably 8 years old or something like that. I remember seeing it, but I don't know if it was in highlights. You know, I might have saw it in the Pro Hall of Fame. We used to go to the Pro Hall of Fame and watch, you know, so I remember something, you know, I remember seeing it. I can't tell you where I was live, you know, back in the 70s, but, you know, I wish I could tell you where it was, but I remember seeing it a lot. Fact. What else we got? Anything else?
How's the quarterback situation? Present roster.
Present? Right now, it's good. It's good. Nick Patty's had a great week so far. Nate Yarnell was a little bit under the weather, had a little bit, you know, a little sickness of some sort. Don't know what it was, but you know, he missed Saturday with a sickness, and I don't think he still feels good. So he's like, Coach, it's 5 days. So I feel bad for him, but he's going to go home and see Mama today, and he'll be all fixed up and ready to go.
I've seen a lot of your defensive linemen take on the challenge of, you know, a lot of guys stepping up, with so many guys moving on.
Yeah, I mean, they're fired up. I mean, you know, I saw Nate Temple, who's, you know, been out for the season, but he was in here the other night at 9 o'clock with some of the young guys, just schooling them up, giving them a little training. So you know, you appreciate those older guys, whether they're playing or not, of coming in here and taking those young guys under their wings. But you know, Sammy and Jimmy, Scott were in here, and just, you know, I think they were shocked to see us in there. It's like they didn't know that you come in at 9 o'clock at night and the coaches are still here. They were kind of shocked. It's like, we're here all the time. You guys can come all season. You missed us. So you know, they're all excited about what they, you know, are going to have an opportunity to do on the 30th.